Every auntie's favorite son. Thank you guys, that made my heart smile. I appreciate it, thank you. Give one round of applause, guys, for Muslims for Peace. Now, come on, louder, come on, come on, come on! My dear brothers and sisters, family, friends, paid customers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now I say this, now for those that may be here who are not of Muslim origin, Assalamu alaikum means peace be unto you. Now if you're Pakistani, first of all, we don't say Assalamu alaikum. We say Assalamu alaikum. But I say peace be unto you because right now, in this time, you may know that we live in a very, and grammatically this is not correct, but in a very unpeaceful time, meaning a lot of turbulence, a lot of confusions, a lot of people who are conflicted. And most of these conflictions or these confusions are within themselves. Now you hear about this all the time, and it's one thing to hear about it, but it's another thing when you actually experience it. And I figured this out about a week ago. Standing in line for the movies. I had to go see Mario Brothers. Fantastic film. I'm standing in line. I see this little 6, 7-year-old girl. Most adorable thing I'd ever seen. She's running around back and forth. And I happened to express vocally, verbally, I said, wow, that is a little princess. She is a beautiful little girl, a very adorable little girl. And the guy behind me gives me a little tap. And he says, hey buddy, listen, watch your mouth, all right? That's my son you're talking about. Now at this point, right away, I felt very awkward. I felt embarrassed. So I felt the need to apologize at this point. And I said, my apologies, I'm so sorry. You have an adorable, adorable son. My apologies, sir, forgive me. And he looks at me, he says, why don't you shut the hell up? I am his mother. These are the problems that our society is facing today, right? Now, the truth is, let me make this very clear, that when I was introduced, Umar Bhai said, please welcome Salman. My friends know me as Salman. My whole life they know me as Salman, okay? Now, whatever. Now, but if someone did not know me, and I happen to have told them that at one point in my life, my name was Salman, it wouldn't be a shocker, because we live in a different time. Now, I don't want to sound prejudiced. I don't want to sound like a bigot, okay, for lack of a better word, okay, because this type of pisses me off, okay? But in all fairness, people say no matter what, you have to treat everybody like human beings, okay? And I am all for that, okay? You have to treat everybody like a human being, okay? That becomes an issue when some of these human beings identify themselves as red-tailed hawks, wolves, okay, wolf. Yeah. My whole thing is, look, don't half-ass it, okay? If you identify as a wolf, now first of all, I don't know the wolf demographics in the population in North America, okay? I really don't. But I would imagine they probably live somewhere there's a huge wolf population in maybe, I don't know, Alaska, right? If you identify as a wolf, then go move to Alaska. Find a nice wolf family. Talk to them for a while, and then see if they invite you over for dinner. I guarantee the hell out of you they will. And then, once you sit with them, they'll be saying, and then you'll be saying, but you'll be saying it because you'll be being eaten alive. That's why you'll be saying it. We didn't face these problems in my generation growing up. These are stupid problems. Our generation, now if you were anywhere from the Eastern Hemisphere, Muslim, brown, Russian, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you were from the Eastern Hemisphere, there are certain cultural identities that we had, cultural problems that we had. Who hooked up this mic? I want to know right now. So, I'm experiencing a really big deja vu. I don't know why, but I feel like we had this problem before, but okay. So as I was saying, we experience cultural identity problems, okay? Now, most of you guys know what I'm talking about. For example, if you're a Muslim and you have to assimilate into the American culture, sometimes we change our names a little bit, right? Muhammad becomes Mo. Bilal becomes Billy, right? Jaffri becomes Jeff, Imran becomes Rani. Now, if you are of Pakistani or Indian descent, what they do is they take your name and they turn it into a nickname that just sounds so cute or fun to say. If your name is Hassan, Hassan. Now, if you're South Indian, you have it the worst. A good friend of mine from college, for the life of us, we could not figure out what to call him. His name was Badri Narayan Chokalinga. And we used to call him BC, and people used to ask, like, hey man, what's BC stand for? He goes, come on man, you know, before Christ, man. Now growing up, because I was Salman, most of the time people called me Salmon, Salamander, yeah, pain in my ass. And God bless my 5th grade teacher, Mr. Pearson, may God rest his soul. He says to me one day, he says, you know what, I'm going to call you Sal from now on. And it fit, you know, I grew up in Brooklyn, I was born and raised in Brooklyn. I had a lot of Italian friends, so Sal, I was the official, you know, brown-white kid. So I was being called Sal. Now, my father didn't know this and didn't figure it out until one night he went to parent-teacher conference. I'm upstairs, I'm doing my homework, I hear the door open, he's coming back, all of a sudden I hear, hey, Sal! I come downstairs, my father starts making fun of me, he's like, hey, you're Italian now? And then he started saying some stuff which you would find, you know, normal in mafia Italian films, but when he said it, it sounded very inappropriate. He just said, hey, let me ask you something. How many people are you going to whack today, huh? But Sal worked for me, you know? And it worked except this one damn time where it completely backfired. And it was in junior high school. I was involved in I'll get to that, don't I'm telling you. I went to a student exchange program. I went to Tokyo, this was in junior high school. It was about 20 kids, 10 boys and 10 girls, right? From New York City, we went to Tokyo. When we get there, we get to this auditorium. We got to the school, students were there, about 500 students. It was a big thing. Faculty, staff, teachers, the mayor of Tokyo was there, okay? You had a lot of people from press. As soon as I walk in, there's a whole assortment of fantastic spread of crackers, cheeses, fruits, sushi, whatever. We helped ourselves. After we were done, they told the American students, go sit up on the stage, and we're gonna call you up one by one. Fantastic, no problem, I can do this. I walked in, helped myself to some fruit, ate my fruit, my whatever was there, got up on stage. Principal goes up, starts talking in Japanese, and he's ready to introduce every student one by one. I happen to be the first one, okay, even though I never understood that because it wasn't in alphabetical order. I don't know why they didn't do that, you know, but whatever. And so he's speaking his Japanese, whatever he said. And he turns around and he says to me, whispers it, what would you like the students to call you? And so I very confidently, I said, call me Sal. Now, he turns around, he says, Watashi, koku no namae wa Saru-san. And the whole auditorium starts laughing. And I didn't understand why. Sitting up there for half an hour trying to figure this out, man, it was really killing me. Finally, we get off on stage, and there was an interpreter that came with us from New York. She says, honey, I'm so sorry, I forgot to tell you. In Japanese, Saru means monkey. And I look at her, I said, you couldn't tell me this half an hour ago. And then your mind starts thinking all these crazy things. I kept thinking, you know what? I embarrassed my country. I embarrassed my school, you know. All these Japanese students are standing there right now thinking, okay, so he's a monkey. Okay. So what animal are the rest of them? And that was all fine. Look, in all fairness, I would have been happy with that, to be honest. I could have lived with that. The only damn thing that bothered me the most about it is when I went into the auditorium initially and I picked up some fruit, I ended up picking up the damn banana. These were the identity problems we had, folks. Right?
How appropriate!
Now, whatever. Now, all these little identity problems we had, let me tell you folks, in case you haven't figured this out, okay? This is my humble opinion. They got us a few years back on Facebook with this, okay? How they slowly got us to believe this kind of stuff. Here's how they did it. Now, I don't know if you remember this. You're going on your news feed, all of a sudden you see one of those quizzes that says, take this quiz, find out what type of potato you are, right? Find out what type of fruit you are. And then like idiots, what do? Yeah, we'll figure it. Let's go take a look at things. And we start answering all these questions about ourselves. And then you press that button and it says, you're a peach. And then as you're reading this paragraph about yourself, you actually sit there thinking for a second, holy crap, I think I really am a peach. You know? Now sometimes there are people with this new system, okay, that they don't actually believe in this system, all right? They don't believe in it. But they will use it to their advantage when necessary, all right? Now listen very carefully, I'm gonna give you an example. I went to Walmart a few days ago, looking for parking. I find a parking spot pretty close to the door, and I see this woman standing over there. And I said, ma'am, excuse me, I'd like to go park in that space. And she says, no, I'm sorry, you can't park here, I'm saving the spot. I can't stand those people. But I do that too, so. But. And so I say to her, I was like, ma'am, seriously, I'd like to park here. You know, you can't stay there. And she says to me, now get this, ready? She says, I identify as a car. Now, here's the thing. I was trying to make her feel stupid, but man, did it backfire. So I said to her, I said, all right, yeah, if you're a car, where the hell are your doors? And she says to me, I swear to God, she goes, right here, 1, 2. I said, you know what, you're a car, I'm gonna find another spot. You're all right, don't worry. Okay, sure, you know. Back in the day, we had problems, maybe misunderstandings in language, right? Language problems, right? Now, I don't know how many Urdu-speaking people, Pakistani people are here, Indian-speaking. How many are here? Just by... Okay. I remember I was watching Predator. You remember Predator, 1980s with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Remember? Good movie. Fantastic film, right? Yeah. I was watching that with my brother. And we come to that scene where Arnold Schwarzenegger is setting everything up so he can kill the Predator. And my father happens to walk in. And he says, "Hey, Arnold Schwarzenegger, huh? And what is he doing now?" And I said to my father, I said, "Oh, Dad, he's just setting up booby traps." My dad threw a bata chappal right at my head as hard as he could. And I couldn't figure it out. I went upstairs, sat in my bedroom for half an hour thinking, what the hell did I just do? And then my father comes in, he says, "Listen, we don't talk like that." I said, "Talk like what?" He said, "You know what I'm talking about? Booby." No? I remember trying to teach my father once. So in a computer, when you use the mouse, right? There's a right click, there's a left click, right? Now, I know how to do that, thank God. Ya Allah Tara Shukr, I have the ability to distinguish. Try to explain this to my 75-year-old father, who can barely hear, about the concept of right click and left click. It's not an easy thing. After about 45 minutes of trying to explain to him, he still couldn't get it. I happened to say out loud, I said, "Well, you know, Dad, you can't teach an old dog new tricks." Now, when you translate that into Urdu, yeah, that's not good. I want to say it, but there's kids here, man. I didn't know there was going to be so many kids sitting right in front of me. No, I can't. But the interesting thing, though, is after he threw about 5-6 chappals at me, he says to me, and this is, I got to give him credit for this, he says, "You know, I am so tired of your shih tzu." I said, "He's a veterinarian." Religious problems, religious identity issues. I remember when I was a kid, I used to go to school, and my friend used to say to me, hey Sal, do you know what God's name is? And I used to say, "Yeah, his name is Allah." And they're like, "No, you know." And they used to say that his name is Jehovah. I said, "This is news because I've been calling him Allah all this time." And so I go home that day thinking, I learned something new. I'm going to impress my parents. And so my father had this thing where, like, at Maghrib and Isha, he would put the musalla and read with him. Sometimes he would let me start the prayer, just to get me to it. He said, "Beta, you ready?" I'm like, "Yeah, Dad, I'm ready." "Go do your wazoo." I go do my wazoo. "Get the musalla ready." Got the musalla ready. He's like, "You ready?" I'm like, "I'm ready." "All right, ready? Here we go." Okay, here we go. Jehovah Akbar. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. And it happened. Now, a friend of mine, and this is a true story, a friend of mine, because of this new craziness that's happening, right? He put his son, who happens to be Muslim, in a Catholic school, okay? Now, the thing is, every religion at this point is really trying to pump everything they can in their kids. Muslim kid go into Catholic school and goes to Islamic Sunday school. It caused a little bit of a confusion. And his father sitting with me, he's like, "Man, I don't know what the hell to do anymore. I just don't know what the hell's going on." I said, "Why?" He goes, "I think my son's getting a little bit confused." I said, "How do you figure?" And he says to me, "We sit at the dinner table before to eat dinner. We all bow our heads." He bows his head. We say, "Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim." And he says, "In the name of the Father and the Son and Holy Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam." Let me tell you something, this generation generation, I don't know how many kids, whatever part of this sitting here right now, but your generation is really up right now. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. Halal comedy. Ramadan just passed, or Ramadan, or however you want to say it. Ramadan. Ramadan. And this is a time where, in this month, you fast, you pray, self-evaluation, read Quran, go to the masjid, and then in Pakistan, Urdu, they say, setting bhi karte hain ladke ladkiyan. Meaning that brothers and sisters who are trying to become husband and wife, pretty much, right? Masjid is the best place we can do it. I'm just saying my personal opinion, but we're not going to get into that. Now, I've heard a lot of Muslim pickup lines, but let me tell you something. Some of these pickup lines are seasonal. Ramadan pickup lines are actually quite unique. And they're actually quite funny too. During dinner, right during iftar, and a buddy of mine is eating, nice little sister walks by and says, "Hey, are you chutney? Because you spice up my life, girl." Then the dessert comes out, same girl passes by, "You are better than jalebi because nothing is sweeter than you." The best one was, I remember one of my friends, he said, "Assalamu alaikum sister, how are you? Listen please, why don't you give me your number so I can wake you up inshallah for Fajr and Sunnah." You guys have been fantastic. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Have a wonderful night. Drive safe.